The day I was shot for campaigning for democracy. It happened July 9, 1999, when the Student Union of Obafemi Awolowo University mobilized students for a peaceful rally. The rally was on with a very massive procession of about 22,000 students. So while the procession was going, the police came and they said they were in support of the rally, and there was a peaceful rally being displayed at the forefront of the rally. So while going with the procession, suddenly the police just turned back at us and started firing. They opened fire at us sporadically. I was one of those that got shot that very day. Lots of people were shot. So I was shot at the femur, that's my thigh. And the moment I fell down, the firing continued. I even felt like I should sink my body into the ground so that the bullet will not hit me again. Looking at my thigh, it has already swollen up, double the thigh size, and I was putting on a white jean, already soaked with blood. In my pool of blood, I noticed there was a particular guy that ran toward a guy that fell and bagged him and took him away while they were still shooting. So the police walked up to me and kicked the injured leg, which was shot. It was a compound open fracture, and the leg dangled and the bone tilted the flesh. So I was picked up inside their van with two other guys. One of them got fainted in that incident, and we were driven to More Police Station at Ile-Ife. That happens to be the area command. So I was detained behind the counter with a gunshot injury, and we were there for about 6 hours before they got a taxi, which took us. I sat in the front of the taxi and beside the driver, and we were taken to the Obafemi Awolowo University Teaching Hospital. So on getting down from the vehicle, I had to be supported by one of the mobile policemen that accompanied me to the hospital. And on getting to the emergency and accident department, I was laid and they fled off. So while on the stretcher there, the staff of the teaching hospitals came, asked me of my name. They got my details, age, next of kin, and so on like that. And I was being administered some injection. Though I was very dry, they said I should not take anything. So they administered some injection, and later one of them came, used scissors to cut off my jean trouser and gave me a blanket. So students were trooping in. They came in their hundreds to donate blood freely to the hospital. So then later the students came. I can't really recognize some of them. They came, took me for x-ray and returned me back to the emergency ward. So it was at 12 midnight. I was wheeled inside the theater 3 of the Obafemi Awolowo University Teaching Hospital. And one of their staffs, the doctor and the theater nurse, told me I should be calm, there is no problem, I'll be fine. That was the very first day I got operated on my femur. They operated me on a debridement fasciotomy, which is also known as wound debridement. So that's by opening the thigh, cutting out the dead tissues, and they remove all the dead tissues, because what I was made to know was that the AK-47 rifle being used, the bullet travels 1,000 kilometers per second. So with the high kinetic energy, there was a discharge in the leg, and at the moment I'm still carrying fragments of multiple pellets. After then, they continued daily dressing. They continued giving me some very sensitive and expensive antibiotic injections, IV fluids, which my parents actually paid for, because as at then, the hospital said, the school authority said they are not going to take care of our expenses. For months, I was there, and after then, there was this secondary suture. After the wound has healed to a particular stage, so they now suture. It was a very wide and open wound. They now brought it together to close, so and was sutured. That one, the scar is still there. After then, there was issue with the calf side of the leg, on the Thomas's splint. So because there was loss of sensation at that area, so it was like there was wound and everything. They started treating that again. So in the process of admission, I got operated with skin graft. I had foot drop, which I was passively, excising. So my foot was at an equinox position. That was a foot drop at that time, and my consultant, Professor Akinyola, who was the head of the consulting team, had to operate me, and the ankle was placed in a plantigrade position so that I can walk better. So then I got a splint at that time to support the ankle. After then, I had another skin graft, posting skin graft. I had elongation of tendon Achilles because of the foot drop. To date, I've been coping, and I'm still on medication. And while at the hospital, the consultant also recommended going for intensive therapy abroad, which he believes will solve the problem. So I went online, searched for hospitals, sending my medical reports to the hospitals at RIC, Rehabilitation Institute of Chicago, and also Cleveland Clinic Foundation in Ohio. So both came up with same treatments, but it was expensive. No sponsor. That prompted me to, through the Students Union executive, when we went for Inspector General Student Summit, I liaised with the office of the IG, and I met with then DIG admin, Mr. Idero, who later became the IG. So he linked me up with DIG Welfare. That was Mr. Dambok at that time, who told me they will do everything, they will do this, do that. So I was connected to the clinic hospital in Abuja, then DC Dayo, and also I got in touch with a police hospital in Falomo, where I met AIG Akpowowo. So he did his assessment and said he will get back. So I even told him he should give me the letter so that I can take it to Abuja, and I said no, it's official, he will do that. Till date, I have not heard from them. Nothing has been done. I've not even gotten any support from the Nigerian Police itself. The gunshot injury actually affected my academics because I spent 12 months. The day I clocked a year on the hospital bed, that was the day I returned back on campus and I was discharged. So ambulating with crutches, going for lectures and so on stressed me out. Sometimes you even get to lectures late. So later, after further treatment, I graduated to using a crutch and later on using a walking cane to walk. So even a colleague that was shot alongside was amputated. So, and I still keep in touch with him. He's in Lagos. One other guy that was shot at the private parts actually died. And we have some other colleagues that got pierced with bullets, various degrees of injury. We're taken care of by the consultant and the doctors at Obafemi Awolowo University Teaching Hospital Complex. We thank God we're still alive, but we still need to be recognized and supported because the guy that has been amputated is still on the old prosthesis, heavy one. Technology has evolved and it needs a lighter prosthesis so that it can move freely around. Some of those that were shot at that time, also their parents bore the bills. The police that actually did the shooting, no investigation was done on them. Even when I needed the extract to facilitate a letter to the IG's office at that time, the extract that was given to me of that date was written that it sustained injury. They didn't say they shot me or sustained gunshot injury. They said Okanlawon Toyin sustained injury. What sort of injury? But I have a copy which I'll present. I have a medical report. I have other sort to back up as evidence, and I believe the situation will adjust itself, and I hope I can still get justice. Being a student of the society, I have been using a coping mechanism, and in all fairness, I go through pains all day. I'm still nursing the leg, I'm still nursing the injury of the gunshots, and what also makes me cope is that I don't get to a depression stage, and by virtue of my ability and capability, I've been able to also help and assist the state and the country at large in one aspect by handling cases of defilement, rape, and other human rights abuses, which I believe gives me joy and relief and make sure perpetrators get their days in court and while their so-called victims get justice. Using medication, coping therapy, meeting with people has been my coping mechanism, and sharing my experience and also making people believe whatever situation you are, you can also still cope and move ahead. So that has been it, and it's actually capital intensive. There are times you will need to get medication or go for one therapy or the other that you won't really have the financial resources. You have to seek maybe through friends or colleagues that will support you, and sometimes you may not really get that help. You just have to manage yourself, because the reality is that psychologically it affects, socially, educationally, it really affects. You just have to keep moving and move on. I have lost a lot, all because I fought for justice. I've been emotionally, socially, educationally affected. I actually lost 3 semesters, which affected my education at that time. Fighting for justice, I believe, is rewardable and is commendable. I also implore the government to make sure that those that sow in tears also reap in joy, and those that are fallen hero or victim of democracy are being recognized and rewarded accordingly. So the government should also do the needful and make sure citizens are being encouraged. Some of us have the lion heart and we are not backing out, and are we backing down. Justice for all and justice forever. My name is Comrade Okanlawon Toyin, popularly known as Oklagogo. This is my story.